It was the wild card round. Packers versus Eagles. I didn't just believe that we'd win. I knew we'd win. It wasn't based on stats, matchup, or even logic. It was simply based on fan vibes. It was a given. My Packers jersey was on, snacks were ready, and I was already imagining us moving on to the next round and playing the Detroit Lions. So I did exactly what every single diehard fan does. I put all of my money exactly where my heart was. I bet big on Green Bay to win. So come kickoff, the game starts and ends all at the same time. It's whatever. I'm not getting that money back. I'm not getting all of the sleep that I've lost since then, and I'm not getting all of the hours that I spent watching them all season long. Anyways, that bet wasn't just a loss on the scoreboard, it was a loss to my bankroll too. And looking back, it wasn't because the Packers were a bad team. It was because I was betting on vibes and not value. It's easy to get sucked into betting on emotions, especially when you're a fan. You want to believe that your team will win because you've been with them through thick and thin. And sportsbooks, they know this. That's why they lean into all of the hype around these big games and fan favorites, because they know there's going to be emotional sports bettors. And sportsbooks love emotional sports bettors because they're predictable. They are going to bet with their hearts and not necessarily their heads. And as much as I hate to admit it, that night I was the perfect example of that. And that's exactly what brings up the topic of this video. What exactly is value betting? Well, to be completely honest, it's actually the complete opposite of vibes betting. Instead of betting on what you hope will happen, you're actually going to bet on the outcomes that are undervalued by the sports books. So let me give you a simple breakdown. If a sportsbook thinks that a team is at minus 120 odds to win, but other sportsbooks are actually showing that they're maybe a little bit closer to minus 150, that's a value bet. You've now found an edge where the odds are actually in your favor. You've line shopped and now you've been able to identify the cheapest price out there. Now, on the flip side of that, there's vibes betting. And here's the problem when you're betting with vibes. They're going to cloud your judgment. You're not going to be looking at necessarily the full picture. You're ignoring things like injuries, matchups, advanced stats, and to be honest, a whole lot of smoke that nobody really has time to research just for a single bet. And it's not necessarily just about being a fan either. Maybe you're betting on a player's last 5 games because they've been on an absolute heater over their last 5 game log. But that's also surface level thinking. Vibes are going to, again, make you very predictable, and predictable sports bettors lose. So you might be thinking, how does someone actually get ahead? How do you stop betting with vibes and start betting with value? Well, it all starts with these 3 key steps. First, ignore the hype. Just because a team is trending on social media, or a player has gone off in maybe his last 5 games, or maybe even a player is getting a lot of help from the refs. Patty. The hype doesn't mean that it's a good bet. Second, think long-term. Value betting isn't about hitting every single bet. It's about making smart bets over time and letting the edge actually work in your favor. And finding those smart bets starts with looking at the data, looking at advanced stats, matchups, and probabilities. That all sounds very, very complicated and again, quite time-consuming. That's not exactly what we're looking for. What we're really looking for are what the sportsbooks are willing to tell us. And that all starts with line shopping that I mentioned earlier. This is daily grind fantasy. And again, what they do is they are able to scan the market compared from one book to what the rest of the market is saying that I mentioned earlier. And that's how we're going to be able to find value on these plays. So as you can see highlighted here, this OG Anunoby play, we're looking for him to go over his 17.5 points plus rebounds. This is giving us a 55.5% odds to hit, because if we look across the rest of the market, what we're seeing is there are a couple books that are also offering this at 17.5. They are slightly favoring it as minus 120, minus 125. But then we also see a couple other books like FanDuel, DraftKings, Bovada, all listing this at a whole point plus rebound higher at 18.5. But they're also heavily favoring it at minus 135, minus 125, minus 120. So again, a lot of these sports books are a little bit confused. But the thing is with Dabble's fixed payouts, if we throw this in a 3-leg slip, this is going to give us a 6x payout. So if we were to throw these top 3 plays into this slip, this is actually a quite profitable slip for us. And that's exactly what we're doing. All we're doing is comparing these odds to, again, what the rest of the market is telling us. Now, we can do the exact same thing if we wanted to use Prize Picks, Underdog, Parlay Play, Better, even Fliff, which is one of these sweepstakes sports books where they're illegal in so many different states, and I apologize. And the really cool thing that we can do with Fliff is we don't necessarily have to build out these parlays like we're forced to on DFS sites like I mentioned with Prize Picks, Underdog, Dabble, and everything else. We can take this, as you can see, there's not necessarily a ton of value. We have 3 plays that are technically positive EV, but if you go down here, we see a negative EV play starting from here on. So what we'd want to do is you could really just take this Michael Bridges over 22.5 PRA, because you can see we're getting this valued at minus 115, but compared to the rest of the market, we see minus 121 and minus 155. So there is clear value to be had on that play, and we can just take that as a straight bet if we wanted to. And again, this is exactly what betting with value over vibes is. So at the end of the day, betting with vibes is fun until it's not, right? Not only do I lose my bet, but my Packers are also out of the playoffs and no hopes of the Super Bowl win. Now, betting with value, though, that's exactly how you flip the script and start winning and start betting smarter. So again, if you thought that this video is useful, be sure to hit a like. Drop a comment down below if you still have any questions about positive EV betting, daily grind fantasies, tools, or anything like that. Also, I do have a discount code for you for daily grind fantasy if you did want to use the code BENCH to get 25% off of your first month. And guys, I'm telling you, it is a complete game changer. Anyways, though, also hit that subscribe button, and I will see y'all in the next one. I hope to hear of all of your betting victories since the next video. I don't know if I said that right. Anyways, though, see y'all next time.